Yeah, he did awesome, man. Played really well. Got on him for a couple he missed, but it was pretty close to perfect game. So he did a hell of a job. Um, Whatever those incompletions were. Jawan's been huge. I mean, the way he stepped it up last year. When BA went down with his ACL and Jawan played as our number one receiver all last year. He's had a lot of injuries this year. He's battled through them all, and he's been able to come back, and um, he's finishing the way that he's, to me, always been. I think both. I mean, last night was the first time I mentioned anything about that, just because we got in the playoffs last night. I told him all year I don't want to talk about that, and but last night we got in, so I was able to talk about that. And when you know you're in the playoffs, that then you shift your goals next, and that's trying to make the playoffs the best situation we can possibly do. So we'd love to try to play a home game of Levi's, and we knew the only way to do that was to win tonight versus the Colts, and we got that done, and then we got luck to do that versus Chicago. What's that? I mean, just at the team meeting, the game ended right before we got in there, and I just told the guys how proud of them I was. I remember starting this offseason, bringing the guys over to my house back in OTAs, and all the vets guys had been here for 3 or 4 years, and there's all guys who, every time we've gone to OTAs, it's been all about trying to get to a Super Bowl, trying to win a Super Bowl, and I wanted to make sure that we didn't really talk that way this year. We needed to focus on just trying to be the best team we could be, and we'll see what happens. And that's kind of been our motto all year, and I was just so proud that I actually now, last night, could congratulate them and actually talk about the playoffs, because they earned that. They got in there, and now it's time to position ourselves to try to do something special in that. Um, I mean, each team's so different. Each game's so different. But, I mean, we had so much turnover this year. So we do have a ton of new guys. We have a ton of guys who've been here who've stepped it up. We've, I don't think we've dropped any games that we should have won. I think we've been able to stay consistent throughout the year. And I think we came in with the mindset just taking it one game at a time and trying to get better throughout the year. And I think we have. I think we did today. And it's important that we continue that. Yeah, he's unbelievable. He looks like I remember. The ball always goes to the right spot. He lets it go as fast as anyone. He can understand almost every coverage you're in. He got them into so many good plays today, and the ball was coming out, and uh, he's amazing. Oh, it was huge. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was Tig who made the play. It was awesome. They got him on a post there right before, and I think on that third and long, and he came back and got it right back for us and led to us getting a touchdown. So I thought he played unbelievable. Our special teams has been unbelievable, and to get that first turnover, I thought was kind of the momentum that gave us the lead, and we were able to keep it throughout the game. I did consider it, but I was a little reluctant off the information I got earlier on one. Um, but I was thinking about it, and I still don't know what I was going to do. I was thinking about when I on the line. I didn't know Brock was going to go quick count. Honestly, went quick count, so I didn't get to make that decision. And I quickly, when I saw he scored, I was glad that I didn't. But then they told me that he scored, so I'm sure Jake's upset with me, but it ended up all right anyways. I didn't see that either. They just said that the play was over and that you can't go hit the ball. I mean, I didn't see it, so I know our guys always go for the ball. I was told that he threw a punch at the ball and hit the ball, but they said it was too late. I just think when you have a veteran team who's gone through all that stuff, and I mean, since 19, when you come up short in the Super Bowl, like that's all you want to do when you come back. And 20 is talk about that, and things don't go well, and it makes it a really tough year. But then going to the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl the next 4 years, or 3 out of the next 4, I mean, that's just all you can focus on, and especially I remember guys like Bosa in 19 who's a rookie, or Debo in 19 who's a rookie, and they think that's all the NFL's about: get into the playoffs, trying to compete for a Super Bowl, and then the next year doesn't go right, and it kind of crushes your team. And I wanted guys to just know, like, you can't always look at it that way. Like, if you do, like, a couple bad things happen, a couple injuries happen, and you can get very deflated. I wanted guys to just focus on being the best they could. And when you've spent your whole time in the league, like guys like Brock and stuff, that every year you're in there, you're going to the NFC Championship or something. I had to kind of tell them the reality. That's not always the case. And get that out of your mind. That doesn't mean you can't do it. But we need to focus on just being the best team we can be and earning the right to talk that way. And those guys did that. They earned to get in the playoffs, and now we'll see what we can do in it. I think he's playing pretty consistent how he's played. I mean, I think Brock's played at a pretty high level since he's gotten in this league, and I honestly think he's playing very well. But I think he's always played pretty good.
How do you sense that there was less of a vacation in the locker room amongst the team when you did get those big injuries this year because of that change mentality?
Maybe to a degree. You can ask them. I mean, that's possibly. I mean, like, if everything you talk about is Super Bowl or bust and OTAs and stuff, and then you lose someone like Fred and Bosa, like, that can change that. We weren't talking about that from the beginning. We're just talking about how trying to be the best we can, and that was a setback. It's hard to be the best you can when you lose some good guys like that, but guys never changed how they worked that next week. That was so cool. Like, just even when we lost Bosa, I thought one of our best games was the next week on a 4-day rest, if I remember right, versus the Rams. When we lost Fred in Tampa Bay and coming back here, and thought we had one of our best games the next week versus Atlanta. So I've just been real proud of the guys and the character they've played with all year.
How challenging was it for your defense? You feel like that better as the game went on?
Yeah, I do. I thought we played a little bit more man in the second half. Anytime, I don't remember what it was exactly, but I think it was like a 3rd and 7, a 3rd and 16, maybe a 3rd and 10. Rivers, you got to slow down. He was hot, and then they made those big 3rd downs, which you're going to get blown out if that keeps happening. And I thought in the second half we tightened up, played a little bit more man, did a real good job in that, made some stops in the red zone, and they didn't run it a ton, but when they did run it, we shut it down. So I was real proud of the guys with that. I thought he had a hell of a game. I know he was battling stuff last week, and just for him to go out there and run the ball the way he did, first that run defense, I think that's one of the better run defenses we've seen on tape, and I was proud of how the guys blocked, and Christian seemed like he ran real well today. Good. I'm thinking about it. I hear all week from Brant about punting and what we got to do, and then I'm like, dude, we haven't even done it in 2 weeks, so you can chill out a little bit. All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, it was cool. To be out here playing against Phillip Rivers and the Colts, like they're a great team, but just more than anything, just taking it one drive at a time, and as an offense, just having a standard and trying to play with that standard and with the guys that we have out there, man. So to go out and execute like we did and to keep doing that, just really proud of those guys, man. Just everybody in our team, just defense getting stops at clutch moments and the turnover at the end of the game to seal it with D winners, like. Just feels good to to play together as a team and win on the road, tough environment. Monday Night Football, Phillip Rivers, like they got some momentum over there and stuff. So just a huge win for us.
Well, Kyle said that he talked to you guys last night because you officially made the playoffs like yesterday. What was that conversation like? And did you talk about this remaining schedule after you got?
Yeah. He spoke to the team and just basically told us, obviously, congrats on making it to the playoffs, and it's not something we can just overlook. Like, it's pretty cool to do that, and so felt good about that. But obviously, the next challenge is, like, we just win one game at a time and try to be the best that we can going into the playoffs. And obviously, we know what's at stake with the first seed and all that, but we can't, get our minds wrapped around just that. Like, we have to go handle business and play a really good team in Chicago next week, coming to our place. So. We have to be locked in. We have to watch this film. We have to get better. So, but it was cool hearing Coach, sort of congratulate us. But also, there's a lot of work to be done. So. Yeah, I think that was awesome that he did that, because the last couple of years, the culture and the teams that we've had, that was a realistic goal to go attack the first seed, go make it deep into the playoffs, go make it to the Super Bowl, win it. Like, those are great goals and realistic. This year, I think it was just really cool for him to understand our team, where we're at, and the turnover and all that kind of thing, and being real with the older guys that have been here, and the challenge of, hey man, like, we got to win some gritty games, early in the year, in the middle of the season, and then late in the year. And see where we're at when it's all said and done. So I think it's just been really cool, because that's been our mindset. Like, we just take it 1 week at a time. We haven't been getting wrapped up in the playoff picture or anything like that. And then, once we just handle business 1 week at a time, we're sitting in a good spot. So it's just really good coaching on his part, and you could see his experience coaching and stuff to be able to relay that to all the guys.
Sorry if you could ask something similar. You've had some big series of games before, but you have a stretch like this on right now. Do you feel like I'm very lucky on this one? Is there anything different
No, man, I think it's just putting pressure on myself, every drive before I go out there. Like, hey, man, like, go out. It's one play at a time. Every play has a life of its own, but put pressure on yourself to be detailed, do the fundamentals right. And it's like living in that kind of mindset rather than trying to make stuff up or just say, hey, let's get into a rhythm here. It's like actually take action in that. So that's been my mindset. And then obviously to be able to win games like we have and put a streak together, it's great and all, but we don't get wrapped up in that. Like, we have to legit watch the film, get better, and go blue collar, win it the next week. That's our mindset.
Well, that mindset that we talked about in terms of doesn't happen. What was the difference for you as a player having, since you've been here? Was it a little extreme?
Honestly, it sort of hit me like, dang, like, all I've heard since I've been here is we got to make it to the Super Bowl, and I've looked at that like, let's go. We got a great team to go do it. I just got to be on top of my job and do my part, and we're going to roll. And then so just hearing Kyle say that, early in the offseason, for me, it was like, all right, like, we got to find ways to win games. Like I said, early in the season, middle, and late. And it's not always going to be pretty. Since I've been here early in my career, we were, dominating teams, and the game was basically over in the fourth quarter. And so now it's like, we got to find ways to win all the way through the very end, and keep stacking those wins. So you never take a win for granted in the NFL, and that's something that I've learned, the last 2 years. So I don't know. I think when he told us that, I sort of started getting my mind wrapped around for the type of season that we've had.
Last one?
2 years ago, Monday night, against Lamar, and you said you had, but there was a lot of, build up. Kind of, a little bit different. I mean, have you grown, I guess, in that way? I mean, Greg, you know, here, right? Like, just
Yeah, I would say so. Not letting the environment or the situation of the season and the game dictate how I go out and think throughout a game. I feel like right now it's, I got to be my best one play at a time, be smart with our team and where we're at, but also like still have the chip on my shoulder to go attack. And so it's all of that. Not, that Christmas game a couple years ago, it was like, man, we're Christmas, Monday night, MVP talk, like hit a couple completions early in the game, felt good, and then after that, I'm getting complacent with going through my reads and stuff and making the right decisions. So definitely have learned from that, but there's always still room for improvement.
Rock, now that you clinched the playoff spot, can you guys talk about, trying to win a Super Bowl now and kind of, focusing on what special season this could be on the stretch?
I mean, yeah, I think that's obviously the reality of what could happen if we just take it one game at a time. But for us, once we get into the playoffs and everything too, that's going to be a brawl in itself. So that's a whole nother road for us, man. We got to go put on a showcase and win the game on Sunday against Chicago. So I think that's where we're at right now. We got to watch this film, get better from it. But more than anything, it's how can we be our best going into playoffs? You want to play good football going into the tournament. So
Bob, I'm sure you were focused on.
you're good, Brant. Go ahead.
Sitting on the sideline and looking at the Rivers, but he starts with like, two touchdown passes, stuck at first two drives. Are you any party to like, this is wild, this is kind of crazy sequence?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when we watched like the What It Takes film earlier in the week, like even the game against Seattle, like Phillip Rivers is going through his reads, he's moving the ball, like smart with the ball. Physically, obviously, it was like you could see that he needed to get a little bit more, just more on his throws or whatnot in certain instances. But outside of that, man, he's playing quarterback at a high level, like making decisions and stuff. So when I saw him doing that the first couple drives, I was like, I mean, that's a Hall of Fame quarterback right there, like going through his reads and making you pay. So for me, it was how can we go and be our best on offense every drive and go, the beginning of the drive to go score. Like that was our mindset every drive. So especially when you're going against a guy like Phillip Rivers. Thanks, guys.
Howdy. Oh, that's a good speaker. How we doing? Pretty excited. We won Monday Night Football on the road. It is after 12 already. Can't wait to get on a plane and go home. My concern level, I don't think it's a high ankle sprain, so, we'll take it one day at a time, and we'll go from there. It happened second quarter. I don't know, whatever. I don't know. We had a drive. I feel like I got hip dropped. Ankle got stuck in the grass or the turf, the cork turf, really weird field. And, try to tape it up, went in the third quarter. Then it just got worse from there. And, that was, if I can't, run very fast or plant, then I think it's a better op for my other tight ends to go in there and make plays. That's pretty cool.
How on point is he right now?
I think he's operating at an incredibly high level. I thought he looked really good last week against Tennessee. He's just out there. I mean, he did a lot less running around today, too, than he did last week. So, I mean, he has a bunch of different elements to his game that allows him to be a really good quarterback and play at a super high level for us. So, I mean, I think he's playing at a really high level. And, I mean, from the start, I think I've told you guys that I feel like we're going to go as far as our offense takes us. And, if our offense is putting up 40-ish points and we get a pick six at the end, too, that's really helpful.
Kyle was talking about how the mindset this year was not to win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Not Super Bowl, how is that for you as a veteran who's been through it all? How is that different to have that, a different kind of goal this year?
Well, like, you start every season, then your goal is, that's what you want to do. You want to go to the Super Bowl, you want to win it. That's your goal. And while, like, I appreciate Kyle saying that, hey, our mindset's a little bit different this year. I mean, me personally, like, I've always been like 1 week at a time. It is what it is. Like, I mean, we've had great teams where we started the year 5-0, lost 3 games in a row, and just like then we bounce back and we go off on a roll there. So it's like it's always one game at a time for me. We have a lot of young players. We had guys leave. We had a lot of guys that need to step up, and as long as our offense keeps chugging along, that's all I really care about. That's pretty cool.
You had 11 losses last year.
Oh, did we really?
Yeah,
Whoa. Whoa. I would say one, Christian McCaffrey being healthy, huge. I mean, he's what, like 900 yards both ways. It's pretty sick. Good job, Christian. And then I'll give credit to two coaches. One, I love Robert Saleh. I just think like his energy and his fire that he brings every single day, and he's like a really good coach. I think that's awesome. And then our other guy, Gus Bradley. He gives the greatest pump-up speeches the night before every game. And they're just stories, and they don't really have anything to do with football. They're just like fun, but they always have like a really good point at the end. Like whether it's like, get in the wheelbarrow. It's like, everybody hop in the wheelbarrow together. We're all going in the same direction. Just stuff like that. And it like just brings like this, I know, I view him like similar to me, Gus. Like just loves the game of football, has a great time coaching it, loves every single day, every opportunity, win or loss, like loves it. And like that just kind of bleeds into the entire office. And so having someone like that, I think is incredibly helpful too.
Kyle, for last night, was the first time he mentioned, really let you guys talk about the playoffs, and eventually heard last night.
Mhm.
And they talked about the team meeting. What was that conversation like?
You basically said it like that. I mean, he just brought it up. He goes, "Hey, like congratulations. Like, we can kind of think about it. We can kind of talk about it. Like all of our focus is on Monday night, obviously, but congratulations to you guys. And we're in the driver's seat, which is a crazy concept for us, but at this time. But I'll just say it's a normal team meeting from Kyle. Like he sets high expectations of us as a team, and then we try to go out there and make him happy.
But I don't know if you heard Phil Rivers in that
Dan Gummit.
but when you were, I don't know what your expectations, I mean, it was kind of, he did fine last week against Seattle, but this was a different level.
He looked pretty good, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get more than a week, and you can kind of figure it out again.
Were you, I don't know, like, concerned, but as you're watching on the sidelines, and you see that, you look kind of like Phil Rivers. You're like, oh, this is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think they had a great game plan. You can't really run zone against Phillip Rivers because he'll just take the check down every single time. They did a lot of that tonight. There's running deep routes, hitting us, for short yards, and then, when they got a lot of one-on-one coverage, he did a great job on all their crossing routes, did a great job on their seam balls, giving guys opportunity balls. I mean, Phillip Rivers is Phillip Rivers. Like, he's going to go out there. He wouldn't have said yes if he didn't think he could do it. And you give him an extra week. He played in a game against one of the best defenses in the league in Seattle, and almost won. And we knew that we were going to have our hands full regardless because he knows how to play the game. He knows how to get the people going. I mean, after their first scoring drive, they put the camera on him, and he's firing the whole crowd up. And that was louder than most of our third downs. I was like, oh my goodness, do not let this guy get hot, please.
Last one, George. First few games, Brock had about 7 interceptions.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, you guys.
Oh.
You guys back.
Hmm?
He's gonna be fine. And for him to now play like that these last few games, validating or reassuring, or kind of what's your take on him just kind of putting together these last couple games?
That's just what I expect from Brock. I mean, luckily I get to see him the entire offseason. I see the work that he puts in. He beats me to my own gym, which is 100 yards from my house. He beats me there every single morning, warming up. The work that he puts in the entire offseason, the work that he puts in the preseason, the extra meetings he does, the film study he does. I expect Brock to be a really good quarterback. And then you see last week he's running around, scrambling. This week he's more, just throwing darts left and right. Doesn't care who's in, doesn't matter where he's throwing it to. He just expects the guys to make the play. That's a quarterback that we've had for the last, was this his fourth year? Right? Yeah, we've had him for 4 years. That's what I expect him to do. And yeah, I mean, when you miss games and you're concerned with an injury, you're thinking about multiple things at once. And so now that he's not thinking about it, hey, there's Brock Purdy.
All right, thanks, George.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Christian here.
Christian, how fun is it to be part of an offense?
It's really fun, man. Yeah, I mean, that's a testament to, everybody showing up, doing their job, playing complete football, starting with the O-line and Brock, and, just being great on third down and opening up good lanes.
What was working so well for the defense that is pretty good?
I mean, those guys up front did a hell of a job all day. Coaches did a great job scheming it up, and they blocked their asses off all day, and so, made our job easy.
Christian, you accomplished a couple of historic things today, one of the yards. Fifth time in your career, all receiving touchdowns. Are you at a point right now where you can reflect on that and
Yeah, I mean, that stuff's awesome, man. I mean, you don't play the game for that stuff. You play the game because you love football, and you love playing with your teammates and going out there and competing. But anytime you hear stuff like that, it is cool. I don't take it for granted, and to be mentioned with guys like that's a huge honor for me. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I know that when we can not punt and continue to move the ball and finish with touchdowns instead of field goals. I think it's it's a big deal. And just again, I think I give all the credit to those guys up front and Brock doing his job and receivers getting open. I think that's really when that's rolling and Brock's doing his thing and the O-line is doing what they're doing. It's a fun offense to be a part of because we have the staff that can scheme things up.
Thank you, Christian.
Thanks, guys.
I mean, it's a good question. I just think, there's a lot of things were going on last year. So I think it was a lot deeper than just having a team together, So, it's always been a next man up league, but, I really can't really just put my finger on it to say, like, we doing this more than we did last year. Obviously, I didn't play a lot of games last year, so it's hard for me to give you like a full analysis. But I think just this year, I think we understand like it's not going to be given to us. I think you think coming off the Super Bowl, like you're just going to be right back there or even close, and maybe that knocked the edge off a little bit. And this year it's kind of like no matter what kind of team we got, we know we got to go out there and play the game. No, I'm just saying it was just a lot. Like I said, we had the Super Bowl loss. I myself wasn't at camp. Just a lot going on. Of course. Yeah, I mean, just, when you're in that huddle, it's only one voice speaking, right? And you got 10 grown men staring at you. And you can't fool grown men, right? And the confidence that he has in that huddle, no matter what phase of the game, those long play calls, just getting everybody where they need to be. I mean, he from A to Z, he does it at a really high level. And I say it all the time, he's a godsend, man, for us to get him where we got him. And obviously he's getting what he deserves now, but, you can't even tell he's still the same guy. Still the same guy from his rookie year. And he's just a baller, man.
We also talked about how it a little bit different for a veteran like you, was it a different mindset or?
I mean, you play the game to win a Super Bowl, right? There's no second place, there's no third place, no consolation prize. So I think every team feels like if we can't win the Super Bowl, it's like there's no way I can call this season a success. Do I call it a bust? And I wouldn't call it a bust. I think that's a harsh term. But the goal is to compete for a Super Bowl. And, if you're not doing that, then I don't think you can say that you accomplished the goals you set out to.
Was there, did it feel like a different mentality this year?
I mean, for me personally, because I was here, right? Last year, it's hard for me to put my finger on it because I was away. But this year, like I said, I think it was just we knew that, like, we had the team that can compete, but we knew it wasn't going to be one of those things we just walked through everybody how we did in 23. We knew that we was going to have to, ride together a little bit tighter. We was going to have to, play a little harder. And he was going to have to we're going to have to make plays. Big-time players making big-time money was going to have to make plays. It wasn't going to be a season where we can defer to anybody, right? You gotta have your best players playing their best. So I think that's the difference. But like I said, it's hard for me to tell you that wasn't the case last year because I wasn't here. it's really important. It's important. It's not end all be all, but it's definitely important. We got 2 playoff teams coming up, so I'm just more excited to see how we match up. Can we continue to play the football that we're proud of, the football that we played tonight? Because it's a great chance that we could see one of those 2 teams in the playoffs as well. So, I'm not really the number 1 seed. Obviously, it's a path to that, but it's not the number 1 thing in our mind right now, especially not mine. I just think we need to get to the point where we're playing the football that we know can win football games. And we take that into the playoffs, anything can happen. Yeah, for sure. I think it brought us closer together. But I'd be lying to tell you that it didn't affect us. It affected us. It affected everybody. Seeing your leader, the best linebacker in the game, on the ground, hearing that, one of your other leaders, Nick Bosa, one of the best DNs in the league, has torn his ACL. It's really hard to take that and just say, all right, next man up. I'd be sitting here lying if I told you that was the case. But, I think it brought us closer together. It gave other guys a chance to step up. And, guys like Tatum, we're really happy for him. So the team just kind of surrounded him, coddled around him, and just, we knew how important this opportunity was for him. We really wanted him to play good. I think he seized his opportunity. You look at getting Cleve back because of the depth at the end and what he's done for us. I think it all matters. It all matters, and I think it all made us closer.
Yeah, Salah brought us to the sideline and was pretty much just saying, stop panicking. And, we are young at defense and, we have all the confidence in the world. And so, Salah, like I said, Salah just pulled us aside and kind of just told us, like, let's play our brand of football. And, I think once we got settled in and kind of got the 3 and out, that's when, guys start to build momentum and, we won the game. Yeah, that surprised us a lot, honestly. We saw a bunch of quick game against Seattle, and, we wanted to be, very reactive once we saw, like, the quick game. So them coming out was a little bit different, and, that's what we had to adjust to. But, Salah did a great job at halftime and, letting us know what kind of looks we were going to get, and, I think we executed pretty well. Yeah, the drive previously, I kind of heard a check, and they kind of ran a little spot route the same way they did on the interception, and I kind of just heard the check, and I was like, man, I'm just about to just try to trust my instincts right here and make a play, and, it came up huge for us. It felt like a movie, honestly. When I caught the ball, all I heard was my heart beating, and, I just saw the end zone, so I was like, let's go score. Why not? Yeah, it was crazy. Just watching him play football growing up and then obviously getting to play against him and, have a pick six against him was huge. So definitely grateful for that and, appreciate him for coming up and speaking with me. Man, they've been, improving each and every week. I'm so proud of those guys and, even Stout and, all the rookies. I think they're gaining more confidence each and every week. And like I said, I'm very proud of them. No, not really, honestly. It was my first career pick, so, I'm definitely going to enjoy that one. But, so, yeah. Yeah, it kind of felt fake, honestly. Like, I don't even know. I was just like, all right, this is real. So, like I said, Salah did a great job preparing us. And, I think we executed it on all levels. And there's some things we got to clean up. But overall, I think we did pretty well. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think we just need to focus on, the remaining schedule. The playoffs going to come, obviously, but, I think our main focus is just to go 1-0 next week and, go from there. Yeah, we kind of came out flat, but I think Salah's probably one of the most poised coaches that I've ever had, and he, whenever you can have a calm, deep coordinator like that, it just gives you all the confidence in the world, like everything's going to be all right, and he does a great job at halftime, and we're thankful for that. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of felt like forever, honestly, being this late of a game for us. And also them coming out and doing the complete opposite of what we expected also played a huge part in it. So I think it was a good job by them, switching it up. And, I think, like I said, Salah did a great job adjusting at halftime. Thank you.